ladies and Neanderthals, deplorables, people that are just, organizing your closet. That's the thing you do to listen to podcasts. You organize your closet and then you listen to the podcast. Fixing your homes. Welcome to the show. Jake is back, my best, favorite, unbelievable, brilliant, unpaid intern / diversity hire / producer / Ed McMahon in training is back. How's it going?
Good.
Mustache is looking good.
Yeah, I got the flavor saver now because I save flavors.
Very good.
That's the thing I do.
We're already scaring the people.
Yeah, my girlfriend was like, "What the fuck is that?" I'm like, "You
welcome.
Used to something." Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Congratulations, you just won, darling. So we're making it happen. We're figuring it out. We're doing the show is good. I thanks for the questions. I will try to get to some of them. We'll make this happen. I did my last show. I had my cinematographer, John Orphan, my collaborator, if you will. We've made a lot of music videos and other funny videos together. And we did a little talk about that for the people that are interested in that whole thing. But if you're probably watching this, that's probably why you're watching it, I would imagine, or listening, because you kind of already know about all my other nonsense at this point. At this point in the game, you're already into whatever the hell I do.
And yeah, I think that you've baited people in with your beautiful music videos, and
baited them in, yeah,
like you bait and
hooked them in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Switched him into what the fuck is going on. Yeah. So Samantha asked, me and John were going through memory lane, so my mind explodes with the things we've done and shot, and then of course I forget a bunch of stuff, and then afterwards I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't talk about. But she wanted to know about the whole jumpsuit commercials I did, because there is some confusion. People thought I was actually selling jumpsuits. So what happened, I did a song called The Jumpsuit Man, which was beautiful, which I had hoped to make into a music video at some point. If you remember me telling you folks in an earlier episode, I was over to Charlie Sheen's house, and then he made a mention that he would give me money to do a music video. So I recorded The Jumpsuit Man, and then I had the song music video, which would be one of the greatest music videos ever, but then that never really happened. You just remember who the hell I am, I'm sure. You smoke a lot of crack when you're Tiger Blood. You don't know where you're at. He did tweet the music video, which is amazing. So that music video never really got made. And then my cinematographer, my John Orphan, who is the best, was like, hey, you should make a commercial. You should do a spec commercial, because the amount of, you get paid, you can make good money being a commercial director. And so instead of doing like a fake, like they do a spec commercials, like I would do like a fake Guinness beer commercial. And then it would be so cool and great that then I potentially could get repped as a director. So instead of doing that, I did as if I was a jumpsuit designer. And that's where I created the jumpsuit lifestyle. So I designed a jumpsuit. I have a friend of mine friend is a brilliant designer, and she helped me with the Balls music video, named Julia Clancy, which I will probably have her on someday. But the girl, she's a designer. She helped design a costume. I sat down with her, and I kind of told her what I want to do. She sketched it out, and then she told the person who makes her, seamstress, I think is what you call, pattern maker, makes it from scratch, and then it was made. And I'm like, oh, that's how you become a designer. You just know what you want, and then you have someone make it, and now you're a designer.
Basically.
Boom.
Yeah.
That's what you. So I had this Florencia, this wonderful, talented lady. She did the cock that heals. I designed that suit. She made it, the bedazzled sequence suit, and then I designed a jumpsuit.
Designer.
Yeah. So now I'm a fucking jumpsuit designer. Yeah. So. The jumpsuit, how I even got interested in the jumpsuit, a comedian friend of mine, Melissa, showed up at my place like 2008, 2007. She had a jumpsuit on, and I was thinking, like, that is the most perfect outfit there is. There's no separation from the top and the bottom. Let's say the bottom is the past and the top is the future. You're not stuck. You're not lost. You're right there. You're in the now. And a jumpsuit is like something of action, something you're going to jump into life. And I thought, what a great metaphor of a garment. And I say the history of the jumpsuit, was made like kind of an inexpensive way that they could make an outfit for these miners and stuff. It's like I can't say the word.
Utopian?
No, utilitarian.
Utilitarian.
God, this is what happens when you have frontal lobe damage. Yeah. You know the word and you can't pronounce it. So then that was that type of outfit. So that was a history of the jumpsuit. And the jumpsuit peaked in 1972. That's when I was born. That's when there was like, I think, maximum jumpsuit madness. Mm. So I designed I got like 12 jumpsuits, and then my friend Julie Boleen, who had a fucking amazing location, she let me shoot these commercials there, and I had all these wonderful model friends that showed up, and we did all this for nothing, and it was fucking amazing. We shot it. We shot 4 different spots. One of them that people really like is the one called, I think it was The Exception, where I'm doing the dancing in the mirror, and I got like 4 girls on the bed. And it was funny because the camera assistant guy forgot to bring like the battery backups or something, extra SD cards. So there was only enough room to shoot one last take. And everyone was like done. And John was like, it's a waste of time. And so I had to plead with him, no, let's just shoot this last thing. Just have him on the bed. The camera's gonna pan over while these girls are having their moment, and I'm so into my fucking jumpsuit and my moves, I don't even give a shit about them, because look how fucking great I look. So I had one shot to do this, a slow pan over, and that was some of the people's favorite little spot, just to hear about how these fucking videos came together. And then the Bangkok, where I'm doing the nunchucks.
I remember that. It was beautiful.
Yeah, very beautiful. We shot that with Zita Voss. She's a guest model now. All these people have gone on to become very successful. So that was, I didn't know how to really use nunchucks. What I do a lot of times is I watch a video before we shoot it, and I just mimic it. I try to. That's my skill set. The Hendrick, where I'm doing the moves, the exercising, that was difficult. Ashley kept laughing the entire time, so I had to keep doing new takes, which my legs were on fire.
I believe it.
One of the ladies showed up late at the end, who was so blasted out of her mind on Xanax and whatever else, and caused a scene in the bathroom, and kind of ruined my relationship with Julie. Was not happy about that. Like, why are you bringing this fucking trash situation to my place? So that was a terrible moment. I was really upset about that.
Do you want to apologize?
I've apologized. I didn't know that the girl had a substance problem. I didn't know that was going on. But yeah, she brought her train wreck self. So if you have a drug and alcohol problem, do not bring yourself to the set. It's causes other problems. I know that you don't think you're causing any problems in anyone else's life, but no, you are, because and it's a bad reflection on everybody else. So that's how he made all that. The music in there is very, very talented. Angela Defoe, which she really helped make that whole thing. She's fucking brilliant. She produced a couple songs I did. We briefly dated during that period of time, and she was very helpful in those videos. And it was, I think, a great way to get people to discover her music. She just put out an album, very talented. Definitely check her stuff out. Maybe someday she'll be a guest on the show. I think Samantha, I hope we covered all that. Oh, so this is what kind of funny thing happened, that people actually wanted to buy the jumpsuits. And I didn't really think that far ahead. I was just making commercials, so hopefully I could work as a director. And I did get to direct some commercials after that. My hustle's not that good. I'm good at making stuff. I'm good at coming up with original concepts, but to really be able to make it as like, you got to have a really good hustle. My hustle skills, I'm not the best business. I am a creative person. I think I definitely could outwork. If there was a competition, like here's limited no resources and you're a director and you got to make this happen, I think I could do well in that scenario. But as far as pitching, putting together pitch decks and all that stuff, no idea. I got some flaws.
It's the frontal lobe.
Yeah, frontal lobe damage. But so I had people wanting to buy the jumpsuits from all around the world, and so I kind of explored what that would look like. And I would need to. I didn't really have the infrastructure to deliver on that because I would just be kind of. You have to. I don't know. No one wants to hear about all the nonsense.
I'm actually curious about this. Would it be like how many people were interested in purchasing something?
I think I had like probably about 20 different people that just saw. And this is from running no ads. There was no budget. This was me just putting it on YouTube and some random people. I think a online magazine, Buddyhead, he did a interview with me. I think I did some other interview for a magazine as well. But this is with I mean, if I had a business partner that was a legitimate, you have to also remember the time though, when I did the jumpsuits, this wasn't a thing that people were wearing. I was way ahead there was no jumpsuits happening. This was a long time ago. And I remember I had a friend of mine who owned a company that services like fashion designers. They do everything. Like they package it, they store the clothes there, the customer service, if you buy it, then they handle everything. And I remember I was trying to get him to partner with me, and then I went to a birthday party for his son, and there was a huge manufacturer there. It literally laughed in my face. So there's no way in hell the jumpsuit would come back. And I'm thinking, like, how do you work in the fashion manufacturing business and understand how there's like trends and cycles and how things. I would wear the jumpsuit out and people would fucking lose their minds.
Yeah, I remember.
Because people would.
Pictures. Beautiful.
People would, because that was not something I was wearing. I remember I went to a party with a performance artist friend of mine who's brilliant. We went to a Purple magazine, and I remember Ariel Pink, who is a successful indie kind of rock god lord, her friend, and I had a pink jumpsuit on, and he was just like, can I get this jumpsuit from you? What can I do? You know, will you come on tour with me and just hang out on stage with it? Like, that's how powerful the jumpsuit. I was asked to go on tour just to hang out on the stage with the jumpsuit. That is the power of that. Why
are you not in a jumpsuit anymore?
How many times can you wear the same jumpsuits? You know, I would love to partner with a company that does that. I would love to be a designer that I would come up with a new line every single season, men and women's. I would love to do the commercials. I'd love to do the print campaign. That would be fun. I'd have to work with an infrastructure that had that. I do have a friend of mine. She's all about it, trying to make the jumpsuits happen. Her and her girlfriend. You know, I mean, I'm open to whatever, you know, but it would be, if I hit it big and I had money to properly do it, then yeah, that would be fun. I spent a lot of time. I had a friend of mine who's a wealthy guy. He saw me on Sunset and he was in his Bentley and he was like, how are the jumpsuit sales going? And I'm like, well, no, I just kind of did it as a commercial of mine. But if I was going to sell, this is how I'd sell them. He goes, what if I give you $100,000? And then I was like, well, this is how I'd go about selling them. And I told him I would do a podcast out of a van. I'd have entertainment people come on. I'd have a jumpsuit for them, and that would be part of the promo of the thing. And it was a great idea. But the thing was going on with that was he was doing a lot of coke. I didn't know this. And so I'd get on the phone with him, and I'd have to spend hours. It's kind of comical. Hours going through all the details of like how to make the jumpsuit thing go on.
Tell me again.
Yeah, literally just some guy who's just is hating himself and doesn't want to be alone and just wants to have some entertaining person on the phone. I was basically fucking idiotic, man. And you know, while I'm doing weird random jobs to try to keep the lights on, and then I created a character out of the jumpsuit, Randy Balboa, who was based on some guy I worked with who's a narcissistic personality disorder, embellishing self-help person who became a life coach, which I thought was the funniest fucking thing I've ever heard, was someone who has no life skills at all, but now they're going to coach you into becoming successful, which is fucking the funniest thing ever. So yeah, I created a character. I wrote a television pilot. It almost got made several times. had a lot of my life wasted on being jerked off about how we're doing your show, we're doing your movie, we're doing this, we're doing that. You know, I spent a lot of my life in that world, which is, you know, all I should ever have done is just keep doing my songs and videos. I've been detoured down roads of projects that hopefully someday they could be made because they would be amazing. I had a friend of mine that worked at CAA, read the script, and he was like, I've never laughed out loud ever reading a script. But to get something made, I don't know. You got to have
Satan.
You got to fucking you got to join the club.
Yeah.
I did have a producer one time have me come into his thing, and they were going to do a show. And he was kind of like that. Like, once you do it, like, you're in the thing. I mean, that's probably real. That's probably why I'm here. Still, I mean, sorry, Satan. You can fucking suck it.
Yeah, suck it.
Lame, reptile, alien, not into your loserness. It's kind of tough if you don't believe in the whole Jesus thing. It's hard to really subscribe to this Satan thing. Because there's a little bit like you have to, because if you believe in one, that means you believe in the other. You know, it's a little bit ridiculous. What else should I talk about? I should talk. Okay, there's some pretty funny things that happened during that period of my life. I did like sober companion jobs, and I did that for years, off and on. And it was like that job. It was like being a hooker, where you were just like an escort or something. Like you just didn't want to ever do it again, but you kept getting sucked into the money. And as you get older, it's harder to do because your ability to deal with the mental rape like just because if so, you understand, folks. These are usually people that take someone who's like really annoying, and then put them in the worst point of their life, and you're stuck handcuffed to them. So it's like, and you can't go anywhere.
And they want to torture you.
Yeah, they're sucking the life out of you. And they might not want to get sober, and you basically become the enemy. I had a lot of luck. A lot of the people that I was a companion for, some of them were really amazing, wonderful people. Even if they're amazing, it's an exhausting situation because it's a very high stress, high pressure. You're on no sleep, and you're with these people forever, and all sorts of danger could happen. And a lot of them some of them are the most. I remember I was doing this one that was like the worst. One day I'll go through and detail some of these. Like you can't even believe it. You can't believe how bad. I mean, you can, you know. I remember this one kid who's just everything that's terrible on the planet. Your white privilege, very successful father and mother, film producer, and I remember he was just. They had something on Facebook like the 10 most toxic people traits or something. And the dude, literally, each one was peaking. Like, he fucking was nailing everyone. And it was, oh, God, it was brutal.
Yeah.
It was brutal. One time we had to go to Disneyland. And I remember It's a Small World. I'm sitting on that ride, and I'm like, if a terrorist could come here and just blow this thing up.
Yeah.
It was brutal. It was brutal. But I fell into trying not to work the sober companion job. A friend of mine goes, you should work as a weed trimmer. You can make like $300 a day. I'm like, oh, you just sit there and have to deal with people. I could listen to podcasts or audiobooks or whatever. So I fell into this job, this hilarious character, a friend of mine who we had mutual friends for many years. And I got this job, and I'm working which I'm a sober person, so working in the world of weed trimmers. And this is back before it was legal 100%. So this was kind of like medically it was legal.
Yeah.
And I'm driving to an area which is basically a Latino gangland situation. Like your M13, what's it?
MS-13.
Something. It's one. So where this big place I'm working across the street, right next to it is like a hangout for a pretty, I researched this online, and they're pretty fucking gnarly, aggressive. They were stealing cop cars, and they were using the cop cars to go after rival gangs in gunfight. Like that. And I am driving a black on black cop car that's parked right in front of their place. Yeah. Oh, dude, we'd leave work at like 2:00 in the morning. And I would think, is this, and you would see it was kind of funny because they had like the look out the window, but they didn't understand the idea that if there's a light in another room, you can see their silhouette. So you always had this person doing the lookout thing. And oh man, they did end up like breaking into the place. I always thought like, is this the night that I get shot and killed? Like, do I get a gun in my face? Am I like, what am I doing for like a few $100s? I'm working as like I'm an illegal immigrant. This is what it's come down to, which I respect. It'd be better off if I was sending money home to my family and it was like they were buying a house with it. Like it really made sense. So it was brutal. So one time they broke into my car. They would do the things where they'd get into my car and they would change the radio station, move the seat back and all this stuff to let me know. I always think I'd get in my car and they'd be like hide behind the seat. It was like this thing of terror. And thank God I wasn't like smoking pot, because then you'd add the paranoia to it and that would be unbearable. So I'd go there and I'd work, and there's like these young people, and they were pretty entertaining, you know. But if you're sober, you're kind of the odd person out. You're kind of the enemy. And I'm like old enough to be. I'm just this fucking like failed loser guy, you know, that's been in some movies and stuff. It's sad. My situation there is sad. But I'm at the same time while I'm doing this, I'm being told that like we're making your show, we're doing your thing, you know. So all this stuff, I'm just there biding time before I'm going to go into production on something. You know, that's what I think is going on. Little do I know. So there's like this girl that they talk about that they hate so much. She's in San Francisco and this total grifter, and she's like the world's fastest trimmer. But she is the most awful person alive. Mm-hmm. And they're just always talk about, oh God, whoa. So sure enough, she comes back. And it's kind of funny because the guy who owned the place is like he's like a comedic character himself. He would come into work and he literally like would hook up with all the different girls that works there. And he's like basically a sex addict. And he would come in and I'm not going to say his name, but he would come in and put on a show. Like, I don't know if he was doing a stand-up show for me because he knew that I had done that, or it was pretty, he's really funny. Yeah. Like showing the girl, like the people there, like if this was like a real.
Well, it's not a real. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah, if like this is a real place. This is like HR, like nightmare. Like this would be, everyone would have sued for sexual right. Showing them, you know, videos of him taking videos of him having sex with everything from unattractive. I mean, it was pretty. I've never in my life could imagine. Like, first of all, I'm having sex with someone. Now you're videotaping it. Like, there's a lot of things. Like you have lines you got to cross to. It's pretty funny. And then going in there and showing your employees what you did. I mean, it was like a fucking sitcom. It was like a really dark sitcom that would never be made. Yeah. And then they would kind of like, it was a funny thing and for them. And then he would end up hooking up with all of them anyway. It was really funny. Yeah. All these different characters, like former strippers, different characters that he would meet at the strip clubs. He'd bring them into, I mean, you're dealing with like the fringes of society. Like, I remember a friend of mine, one of my friends I worked for a few times because I needed someone, and she was really funny. She goes, and she was so perfect. She goes, it's with these people, it's just drugs and drama. And it made sense because when you're always fucked up, you need drama not to deal with like the voice in your head, like you're a loser. Like, you know, the thing that's like, what do you do? So there was always like overwhelming psychodrama in these people's lives. And you're just kind of held hostage in this little room, trimming away, trying to make your money. And it's like a dog eat dog situation. There's like everything is like some sort of like hustle to try to not get screwed out of whatever the opportunity is, because it was feast or famine. It was like you'd work for a couple of weeks and you'd be off for a week and you didn't know what was what. And there was all these hustles where it would be, they wouldn't tell me to come in. They'd screw me out of days and they would do the good weed and then you would be stuck doing the shitty weed. The first day I did 2 pounds and they're like, which was a big deal. Even to do a pound was a lot. So they were like, fuck this guy. Like, so the next day they gave me the shittiest weed. Because you used to get paid
by pound,
by the pound, yeah. But so whatever you did, like you get paid at how much you do. So you make money not by your hour, but like by how much you get done. And so like, if anything, I'm there to make money. I don't really care. I'm gonna work hard. You know, I'm not really an annoying person necessarily. I just want to do my thing. Yeah. So then here comes the big bad girl. So she shows up. I get to work. I'm driving like an hour to get there. It's like a fucking like, this is what you've been reduced to. Like, this is what my life has come down to. So oh God. So you want to make it in Hollywood. This is what you do. This is what you're doing. So I'm there, and this she's there. The monster's there, and it's just me and her in this like this crazy, filthy, dirty room with like I guess I should set the scene of it's like like tinfoil, like that kind of reflective material insulation, and there's like weed, and we're in this like filthy card table, and she is on the phone yelling and screaming at her mother, like with the most intense vitriol. This is the first time I've ever met this person.
Yeah.
I'm in a room like this size while somebody is having the most psycho fucking madness conversation with their mother. And this is one of those things that, like, if I was angry and yelling with someone, I don't know that I'd want to be having witnesses of me going. But this is part of like a narcissistic personality disorder thing, because in her mind, she thinks maybe I'm being impressed with her skills in her head somehow, right?
Yeah. It's like but it's also like a form of like fucking retardation.
Yeah. Well, yes, it's a lot of things. So this person just basically taking you hostage and mentally raping you, and you can't go anywhere, and you're there just going, I don't think this could get any worse. I mean, this is as bad as it can get. Like this lunatic screaming and yelling. And then, so the first thing a vampire does, folks, is they'll be friendly to you because they want to profile what your power situation is. Mm-hmm. So in that particular way, she wants to know who the hell I know, what is my relation to why I have this job, what's my power to like the owner.
Can they social climb you, or are they above?
And they're trying to figure out how to climb. They're trying to figure out how to game you. Like, what is your, what's your deal? Who are you? What can I get from you? So she's a person that would looking for a free place to live, that kind of thing. Like that hustle all the way around. Everything. The person who has everyone just has burned all bridges. That character, and she looked like kind of like Janis Joplin, but not an attractive version, but with like that raspy, crazy voice. Her thing is hanging out with like the DJ, doing a lot of coke at night, getting completely fucked up with the raspy thing. But the Michael Jordan of trimming. No one has ever trimmed this fast. I mean, you would like fight to try to get a pound, and she would have 4 pounds. Like it was like unbelievable how skilled she was.
Well, that kind of goes into the whole like, dropping the matches and counting how, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So she's the person that would steal from you and then help you find, look for the, I mean, this person had every hustle down because this was her life. Yeah. And she was like a lot of people, they're super skilled
at
something.
Hippie?
Kind of. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm trying to get a picture. She was like a hippie.
San Francisco Burning Man type person. Wearing like the pants that are like those yoga bedazzled colored pants, like
that
the
are
hippie
like a
type.
Baggy.
Yeah, probably has a petroleum on. Probably was okay looking when she was a little bit younger, but she's in that late 20s, maybe early 30s, like looks rough, like lived some hard years.
Yeah.
Probably had I think she had like a meth boyfriend. Someone who's definitely done some, it's been a life of grifting and scamming and living on the edge of, doing the illegal trimming world is her life. Like when it was illegal, the world of hustlers and grifters and fringe people. But one of the most, it was unbearable. So she would just keep talking at you to kind of throw you off. Everything was a hustle. So she would do a thing where she would game to get the best weed. She would try to control everything, and to divide it up.
Best weed because it's easier to trim.
Yeah, you make more money. You can get more faster.
It's fluffier or denser.
Yeah, she knows every hustler is. She gets there early, figures it out, hides weed, does stuff. She there's like when it gets really small, you could spend a lot of time. It's cool. It could spend a lot of time like on the little ones. Mm-hmm. So she would then trash those and put them in the trash. And there was a time where they found the trash. And I was like, who the fuck, clearly it was her, every fucking hustle there was. So she would basically get 3 pounds and then leave early so she wouldn't have to do any cleanup. She had it all down. I mean, it was like, oh God, she was like, so it was brutal, man. Really loud, playing like awful music, like to the point, like piercing that you would have your own thing on your headphones and you couldn't escape it. Like this level of insanity. Yeah. So I think it was like is the Warriors, are they the Golden State Warriors, were a basketball team that's like really huge, and she's a fan of them.
Was she from up north? She was from up north, yeah.
So she would watching it on her laptop and then screaming and yelling as if she's courtside at the game. While you're think if you're like in a work situation and someone is just, I mean, that constantly needing you to like pay attention and look at them, like just hammering you with like the most obnoxious, like, fuck off.
Yeah, I'm getting a visual. Like, I find it so weird. Like, you're describing a hippie, but also a sports fan. It's like
she's a lot of contradictions that make no sense. It's just a hustle to fit into whatever grift she's into. Yeah, and I think she was in this because a guy she was dating was into the team, and so she was. So there was a moment where, now I'm nobody in this situation. I've been in some movies and I've been in some music videos. I've had moments where people have recognized me from stuff on the street, but my fame level is as low as it gets. I'm like a notch above, like an extra. But the thing is, I don't really want to have video or photos of me at this time trimming weed at a thing. It's just because of whatever. It's just like it's about as pathetic as it looks. I don't want anyone knowing that my life has gotten this pathetic. Not like it was where are they now? I've never had any success, but still, I'm not really broadcasting. I have a little bit of pride, even though I don't, but I have a little bit of shame. So she is there like FaceTiming, and you don't know if you're being like recorded and stuff. And I mean, she's like wants to FaceTime with her. I'm like, bitch, could you not? Yeah. Like I don't need to be part of the production here. Yeah. Like for somebody, it could be a funny thing. Like here's this idiot he's been in this movie and this one here. Look at him now. Like it's just could you not? Oh God, dude, it was brutal.
Did you blast her?
We got into it. I full on like laid into like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, you're not even on the thing. Like, why do you need to FaceTime some asshole? What's the point of FaceTiming someone when you're doing something that's like, I guess, quasi illegal in the first place? Like, what are you doing? Like, what a nightmare. Fucking, that's my life of trying to avoid crazy and mental rapist. I just went from bad to worst. So I got a phone call from a friend of mine that was trying to get me to do a sober companion job. And it was like, the trimming thing was getting pretty brutal. I was getting really concerned that I would walk out of there with like a gun in my, it was like, what the fuck am I doing? It kept getting more and more desperately pathetic. So he's like, there's this guy I know, companion job, just talk to him, So I talked to this guy. He's a pretty good con artist, weirdo. So I was going to make like maybe $330 a day. Maybe it was like 10 grand or 9 grand, something like a month. And I was like, I'll take a break. Maybe that'll get me around the corner. This other thing will take off. I could just deal with a month. Whoa. Stay with this guy. This guy was fucking a piece of work. So I'm trying to escape this crazy mental rapist, which is just making it unbearable. Because most people have some kind of job. Maybe the job's good, but you might be working with someone there that's making your life a living hell because they're just a nightmare. Yeah. Right? And it's kind of a job like that's kind of fun if you're working with fun, cool people that have a sense of humor and aren't completely psychotic nightmares. Because everything can be cool if people are cool, So here I now am in this job. I do this sober companion job. And this guy lives, I guess, like Santa Clarita, and like where the Magic Mountain area is, way over there.
Santa Clarita.
Something like
Santa
that.
Clara.
Around there. So I first meet the guy. He's a character. He's a married man. He's got some kids, and like the mail order bride from like an Asian country that came here, doesn't speak English, but like after so many years, she learns. She's like the Eddie Murphy joke where the mail order bride and then comes here and it's working out. Then she starts to learn English. She befriends some American women. They're like, oh, this guy's a monster, you know. But it kind of was. I guess it would improve if you came from such a poor situation. It's like, oh my God, you're in a house and a food and a car and. Oh God, dude, it was brutal. Bisexual, sex addict, alcoholic, and basically he'd been going at it for a while. And the wife was like, "I'm figuring out how to get it." She's educated herself now to be like, "I'm going to get a divorce," and she's going to be able to get half. So he's kind of worried because the kids are still in high school and they're not 18 yet. They're young. They're still like high school, junior high type thing. So he's got it. She's got some skills now. So she's put some ultimatum on him where you got to get sober. We're getting divorced. So he was in a rehab and he had to leave there early because he couldn't deal with it, which is a real
good
sign that it's going to be really ugly. So just need someone to go to the meetings with and be there, you know, to appease the wife. And the wife's whole thing is he just got to get back to church.
That's her belief of his.
Yeah, and the church they go to is like kind of like a new age, born again Christian type thing. So I got to do some of that, which was a part of this adventure. So I first meet this guy at like a Starbucks in Middle West Hollywood, and I'm in line getting something, and he opens up his laptop. He's got to do some business or something, and it's just at the Starbucks in this laptop, and it's just playing gay porn, and he's trying to figure out how to shut it down. And I'm thinking like,
what are you doing?
Like everything is like is a dark comedy. Like why does my life have to be a legitimate living a dark comedy? And this guy was a brutal hang. So you know I have a problem with the eating with the mouth open. So I would have to drive him from Santa Clarita to like these properties he had downtown by USA, and the whole time he'd be like chewing on like these almonds and stuff. Just I mean, I would have my face against the window of his like fucking car. I'm just like, I can't. I mean, it's just like trying to just focus on my breathing. And piercing, he's yelling so loud. He's on the phone, usually just screaming at somebody that he's trying to do some illegal business, like some contractor who wants him to, some real estate agent wants him to. They want to do like an illegal, fucking demolish some building, which they can't because it has. Historic, yeah, it's like an historic building where they want to fucking illegally do it, and they're gonna it's just shady McShady's everything around. So, oh God, we'd have to get in that car, and we would get up early and go, and we would do like a 14-hour day, and then I'm driving this guy around. I mean, I would just be exhausted. It was fucking
for $330.
Yeah, brutal, like. Oh my God! There was a moment. This is when they had that swimmer from Stanford or something like that. Like he was in an alleyway and he was trying to finger bang a girl that was passed out or something.
Oh like yeah. No, he did finger bang her, but yeah.
So it was terrible. So and I remember I was talking to a friend of mine while I was texting, and it was so bad. I'm like, dude, I would rather be physically raped than deal with another day of this. Like the month of the mental raping. I would rather just have a rape thing is going to end. Like that might last for 5 minutes and it's over with. Yeah. Like that's how it was so bad. Like it got so bad that I got bronchitis. My entire being
system fell
was
apart.
Just like, get away from this person. So anytime we would go to like a 12-step meeting and they do a fellowship, and then he would let the people know that he's a bisexual sex addict. So what a lot of people do is they want to, like a sex addict will create sexual intrigue to see if there's anyone that will take the bait. So he's always throwing it out there that he's down for any kind of sexual situation at all, which is just really awkward. And when you're a newly sober person, there's people that are just going to try to help you and stuff. But like they're being really nice, but it's just a tough situation, you know? So every situation you go in, that's put out there. Now, my friend who set me up with this guy has kind of showed him my videos, all of this stuff. So this guy is kind of into he's trying to convince me during this period of time that I should direct pornos. So he has some loser friend that we go hang out with, his friend that's a porn producer guy. And there's that moment that goes down. Mm-hmm. And he's there with like his 12-year-old, which has got to be some form of like the worst parenting ever. No, the guy I'm doing the companion with. And these kids it's hilarious because the kids just make fun of him. Like it is fucking hilarious. There's your show. It's like the 12-year-old just fucking they are so humiliated by how much of a fucking terrible nightmare their dad is. He has no self-awareness at all. Talking about like shooting in an airplane hangar, a porno and stuff. And he's trying to get me
in detail.
Yeah, in front of the kids. Yeah, and I'm just like, and I just want this to end. I just want this to be over with. I don't want this is such a bad scene.
Yeah.
I can't even, I don't even care to do, I just want to escape because I can't, I mean, I'm not getting paid enough to deal with.
That's nothing.
No,
$330.
I'm getting paid like $4 an hour. And at nighttime, dude, at nighttime.
24/7?
24/7. This is not through like a rehab. This is an independent thing. This is like, so at nighttime, I'm sleeping in it's a guest room, whatever. I was always afraid that I would possibly wake up and this guy's going to be over me or something. You know what I mean? Like totally. You had all of those real elements of, because he would talk to me in that kind of, so I'm making $13.75 an hour. No overtime, nothing.
No overtime.
And then of course, like the worst food situation ever. Everything is like,
because he would eat McDonald's. Because
he was
right?
This like the fucking just douche all the way around. And he would talk to me with terms of endearment, like flirtatious, which was just so weird. The piercing yelling. He had the perfect pitch that would pierce your ears. I think at one point he wanted me to like. He was trying to impress some kids he went to school with. He was trying to impress them with, and I don't want to be associated with this person. I don't want him showing people my videos. I don't want to be like, I'm just like, I just want to get this over with. It was so bad. So there was a moment, I'm sure I always say these stories and afterwards I forget stuff and leave a bunch of stuff out, which is hilarious. But there was a moment, oh God, this was the worst. We go to I should talk about the wife. So the wife, he's in front of me on the ladder, and and his wife is there, and he's trying to rekindle the relationship, kind of weird. So he's like awkwardly saying, like making sexual advances to the mother of his 2 kids, and she's just repulsed by it because she's married this guy who spends all their money and resources on just being drunk all day and then going out and fucking prostitutes all day long, men and women. And obviously that's
not what she signed up for.
She probably got an STD from her. I mean, she's like this, this sweet, nice lady that's busting her ass to try to like be a good mother. She's like a good Christian. She's going to her born again Christian church. Like it's like heartbreaking. Yeah. You're just like, oh, this poor lady is just trying to make a better life for herself, and she's with this abusive fucking nightmare that probably met her at one of these like arranged marriage type things. Yeah. And oh God, brutal. So there's one moment where we are at some shitty fast food scenario in there, and like there's 3 girls, young ladies, probably in junior high or something. I can't tell how old people are, but summertime, so they're wearing like whatever outfits. And he tells me that he couldn't stop looking at them because he was so turned on.
About the kids?
Yeah, and I was like, oh, God, dude.
Yeah. Now you're just with one of those fucking people.
Yeah, now I'm with someone who likes he told me that's like really young prostitutes.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh, my God, dude, I can't.
Have you ever...
I can't even fucking like, don't even put my head there. I can't even go down that road. Like horrified.
Have you ever beaten somebody up in a thing? Because I've heard of that.
Yeah, this guy was a big guy too. So there was no. I wasn't. I just wanted to. I don't know that he was. He let me know that he was into. I remember he was talking about how he was into like this. Like he'd go to like some massage place that wasn't a massage place, that was a prostitution thing, and I was kind of letting him know like, hey, I had a friend that worked as a producer on a show, and you understand that those women are not really probably here by their own will. You know, they're being trafficked. And of course they are nice to you because they need to do the job so terrible things don't happen.
Yeah.
Like I was just kind of like, in his mind, it was like,
He was the man.
yeah, he's the man. And they're just so excited to see him because he's like, he doesn't get it. And it was like, it was really, the whole thing was troubling. Like this guy is a troubled situation. But so after that, I got physically really sick and I took myself to ER because I got bronchitis because I was so
I know. I get it.
fucking make it end. Please, God, make it end.
Yeah.
And then
You've had some fucked up
I've had
stories.
some real doozies. I had some good ones, but some real terrible ones. So there was more to the absurdity. There was like, what did he do? Oh, so this is funny. So I have to go to to appease the wife. We had to go to like the born again Christian church, which was just, whoa.
Yeah, no, they're aggressive.
That was a whole thing. It was like basically self-help, but insert Jesus. And
you're gonna burn in hell if you do anything different. Yeah.
Well, it's kind of I've had some experiences. I mean, I was raised Catholic, so I understood the whole thing. But the New Age stuff has a whole other level of interesting characters. I worked at this restaurant in Joffrey's, in Malibu, and there was a lot of these guys that went to this church there, and like they would. Like the dude who was like a big deal in the church, he was like a waiter that would steal tables from you, would just shaft you so hard.
And he was a
yeah,
member.
and he was like the guy, like the musical director or something, big important person. All this fake.
Yeah.
And the guy who wrapped my van went to that same church and just lied to me, screwed me out of the whole. Every time I've ever had a bad business dealing, it's a born again Christian person.
That's great.
Yeah, it's totally true. And I know this is how they work.
I'm just happy to hear that's so opposite of like somebody saying a Jew.
Yeah, no, dude, Jewish people are the best.
Best, I know.
My the best humor, the best everything. Unless you're, if you're so born again Christian. This is the scenario. In their little world, they are the elite that's going to heaven, and God is their whole thing. So if you're not part of their situation, they're gonna fuck you. And that's their whole thing, which is what Jesus would do, right? Because that's what Jesus was all about.
Obviously.
Yeah, clearly. Everything is like a fucking hypocritical, just, oh God, these people are something else. So
Brutal.
that was my entertaining situation. So I'm at the church, and of course, if I don't understand like the whole God and Jesus thing, why does it have the worst music taste ever? Like it is
just a rock and roll.
They put on a performance, and you're like, just fucking somebody. Every second is painful. I mean, I have a good sense of humor, so I can kind of like. But I was thinking like the terrorists, like want to fly planes into a building. You could go to one of those big mega churches, and you're like, I get it. It makes sense why you'd want to do that. These people are frightening. Yeah. Like it is scary. Like it is the level of fucking delusional bullshit is going. Sorry, I know I don't want to offend anybody. I definitely appreciate JC, the teaching of Jesus, teaching, which he basically ripped off the Buddhists, which ripped off the Tao, which is
from the Jews.
Anyway. Yeah, exactly. He was Jewish. He was a
rabbi. Yeah. But, the interesting thing though is it's not about Christianity, so to speak.
It's just the characters, the cult.
Well, yes, there's characters that are drawn to that, but it's the kind of like the born agains are like the most extreme version of a Christian. It's kind of like the Hasidic Jews on the complete opposite end of that spectrum. They're really, really, really strict.
I think there's a thing if you look at if you understand the Bible as a metaphor and teaching tools, then it can work. But when you're taking stuff literal and people are, the business of manipulating, hustling people, that's where that comes in. Like within the people abuse power, and these people are. We don't even get into that. So then there's like a guy that this guy's renting out a room to one of the born again people. So we go to like the soup plantation. We're out there, and this guy is kind of trying to convert me over to the Jesus thing. And I've read the Bible. I know that this kid hasn't. This guy's trying to convert me, and we're talking and talking about Jesus' teaching and all that sort of stuff. And
I'm like, have you ever studied, Buddhism? Have you read? I've read like name out all these books. Nothing. This person has such a limited thing because he's trying to let me know that the only way that's going to help this guy is if the church thing and the AA thing you can't do because it's demonic and all this other sort of stuff. And the best thing about it is the guy, for work, he works at like a company that builds, I think Lockheed, one of the military defense contract companies where they build bombs.
Halliburton?
I don't know what company. It manufactures bombs that are somewhere here. Who knows? So this is the Jesus guy that goes to work every day to manufacture bombs that are just being dropped on people, like murdering innocent women and children. Just the absurdity is so good. And you're just like, what the hell? Holy is, wow, okay.
Well, that's why if you make the enemies, it has to be religious. Otherwise, you can't.
Oh my God.
Can't justify it unless it's an attack on your freedoms and religion.
Oh my God. It's just
makes total sense.
I have, slightly below average intelligence, and this is too much for my head to handle with the frontal lobe damage.
Well, I was going to say with the frontal lobe damage, you're doing really good.
Yeah, brutal. So then the guy was staying there, and then they had some kind of falling out, and there was a big argument, and I think the guy skipped out on not paying him, which is par for the born again. So I remember we had to go to one of the born again events. So there's all these characters there, and I did a group photo, and I hid so my face wasn't in there. I was like, God, it was so creepy. And they did like some,
somebody's head.
Yeah. They did like some weird song thing, and then some guy came up and talked about whatever the devil had him, and this other guy's trying to hard sell me on that he was friends with Guns N' Roses back in the day when they first started out, and that's when the devil had him, and then he was able to escape the grip of the devil. It was really funny, and like this guy, there's like these characters are like the guy in a khaki shirt, or the khaki pants with the shirt on, and as if he's like managing some like a Radio Shack type thing, just he's got this righteous path, and he's selling me on it, and I'm like, I'm just here working as a companion. But that's part of the gig. You got to try to sell everybody the multi-level network marketing opportunity to get into this. But that's their thing. So we're dealing with that, trying to get through this experience on this to try to make a little bit of money to
$13.75
getting
an hour.
mentally raped.
Do you ever look back on that and be like, what?
It was brutal, man. It was brutal. So there was a moment where he got upset with me, and then he it was like a couple of days. He did a thing where he would not have to pay me some money or whatever. And then I got a window, and I was like, okay. And I just packed my shit, and I was gone. And I remember like he like just petty stuff. Like he made sure he had like my car charger that was a dual thing, which he was impressed with. Just like the guy, the nickel and dimer weirdo. And I was like just happy to get the fuck, just escape that nightmare. Then he would continue to send me weird messages. I'm pretty sure he probably listens to this.
I hope he does.
Yeah.
What would you say to him right now?
I hope everything's going well.
Yeah.
Hope
Hope you're still with your wife.
Hope all's well. Hope you're sober and life is good and
your
kids are doing well.
Trauma.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you. Hope I was able to help you out. That was fucking brutal.
I think you should do, because I've heard some great stories from you. I think you should do like, I remember that you said there was one, we don't want to do it today, but there was the woman that like would like smell herself.
Oh God. Yeah. That's another one of these like companion gigs. That's a long one.
You just have to sit with it and be embarrassed. That's what it is. I remember doing it, and it's just like, oh my God, like I have to sit here and be. Yeah,
she'd put her hands in the front of her.
Yeah.
She was amazingly, wow. I mean, these are characters. I think the real wonderful thing about working in recovery and stuff, as doing like character acting and stuff, it really gave me a very rich understanding of the human condition and seeing it on so many different levels.
A really rich understanding of range.
Yeah. Because these are people on the fringe. These are very exaggerated personalities.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that guy, I remember him telling me in graphic detail, back to the sober companion, the bisexual sex addict. When he was young, like I think, like maybe right when he did puberty, they had an African American housekeeper that would give him blowjobs, and he would just describe in detail about how if he sees a black woman with big lips that he gets so turned on. So basically, he just trolls all around that downtown looking for...
downtown he would do it.
Yeah, because I think it's some rental property in some sketchier places. And he broke down the detail, how the woman would use like a warm cloth and like this whole scenario. And like he gave it to me in such detail, and it was such a thing. So basically, he's a victim of being molested.
And he's molesting you with this story.
And he's fully molesting my head.
Yeah. That
is scarred forever. Like I can't escape. Oh God.
I went.
That's the thing about that gig.
It's a tough gig. I listen. I think there's something to be said for the people that. There's some really crazy people. I remember one time I was at a gathering, so to speak.
Yeah.
And someone was just talking the same thing, and he just went into this like really and he had this interesting way of speaking. Like the words came out funny. He was like. And then I was there, and a man with an erect penis came at me at the speed of, and I was like, "Whoa! Like, why am I being subjected to this? Like, I didn't ask for this, you know?
Like at
a meeting, yeah. I'm like, fuck you for doing this, you know? It's brutal. Like, I feel bad that you have trauma. But don't traumatize me with your.
Well, yeah, that's trauma, a lot of that.
You know,
the world is which I'm hoping my podcast is doing. It's going to help
untraumatize people's trauma using trauma. It's like water and oil and bleach and stuff.
I just think it's funny that I'm like trying to escape one tragic being
car crash.
Just being the energy vampire, just destroying your whole existence, and then you're just taken to another level of another realm of purgatory, unbelievable nightmare. Like, yeah. I mean, I have more respect for like criminals. I could see how someone could turn into crime. Not that I would be smart enough to be able to be a criminal in any sense. Oh man, I'm just good at being, I don't even know.
I know what you're good at.
Yep.
You're an amazing designer and you have a great mullet.
The jumpsuit. Yeah, the jumpsuit designer.
Yeah.
Yeah, someday. Well, it's going to...
I think it's closer than you think.
Taken off. I was on, I got to go on the Adam Carolla show.
Why do I know that?
Adam Carolla's huge podcast, and we talked about the jumpsuit. Then the jumpsuits became a thing, and people would let me know that I had friends that go, dude, you single-handedly brought the jumpsuit back.
Yeah.
Which is really funny. And then it was actually really fun. A television producer friend of mine, she'd shown my jumpsuit commercials to this guy, and the dude was like a designer person, and he did my jumpsuit similar, but was and then he was on the Today Show. Like, this guy's going to try to bring back the jumpsuit. And she's like, oh, my God. I showed this guy your stuff, and he's totally ripping you off. Yeah, that's what she was saying. Like, I was like, I mean, he's a designer, of course. Yeah. Whatever. Not that. But it was kind of funny that I helped. I know that I see jumpsuits today, people wearing them. They don't know this, but I do.
Yeah.
That I helped bring back one of the greatest outfits ever back to the world.
My Aunt Eileen, she's schizophrenic, and she says that she created Ronald McDonald. She was the visionary behind Ronald McDonald.
She probably was.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I should just go around constantly telling people that. But I used to have people, I would have people that as the jumpsuits became popular, anytime there was anything about a jumpsuit or celebrities would be photographed. Because then I knew, like, stylists, I knew people that were putting their clients in jumpsuits, people asking me for jumpsuits to whatever. So it was pretty funny. Jumpsuits are around, whatever. This was years ago. But it's really funny to think, if I was to own that, and I would always be telling someone every single day about how I
created the fucking jumpsuit.
Yeah. My friend of mine who's hilarious, his friend is good friends with a guy who was like in Motley Crue, the singer, and it didn't work out for him. And he spent the rest of his life pissed off about the guy who ended up being the singer. Like, it just haunts him for the rest of his life that it could have been his life. That's a pretty funny character. That's a pretty funny situation. Like you were in some kind of band, it didn't work out. They brought someone else in and they became huge superstars. And your life was just an absolute failure.
Yeah. Well, it's the person that's just, they're fucking angry. And they're just angry and they'll never get over it. And that's what makes it, I'm sure that happens in all sorts of
things. Never reinvent themselves. They never really take it on themselves that they probably didn't have any talent. They wouldn't. They would never would have become successsul because they weren't able to deliver the goods.
There was a reason. It wasn't like, oh, they lost your phone number.
Because if you had that talent, and you're an amazing singer, it wouldn't matter who the hell, you would have been able to make it happen.
Exactly. Because everything in Hollywood works out for you if you're talented. That was a joke.
Yeah. I mean, I know some people are really fucking talented, and you're like, oh wow, yeah. There was a lot of stand-up comics that were really brilliant when I was doing stand-up that it didn't really, for whatever reason. But it's timing. There's a lot of things going on. If you fit like a demographic in stand-up, like if you're, the more fucked your life circumstances are, then the more possibilities you have.
Where you come from.
Well, it's the more adversity you have. Like if you had basic humor, and you were like a peg leg, you were an albino, trans,
cerebral palsy,
everything.
Yeah.
You could make it as a comedian.
I totally believe
the more unique you are, I think there's some comedians that were like from the Middle East, and there's like your competition is two people.
Yeah.
So anytime they would need someone for that part, like if you're like the more character-ish you look as a person, you're gonna have more opportunities as an actor to be like in commercials. The more unique you look, if you're extremely good looking.
Yeah.
Like if you're kind of okay looking, if you don't fit into the category of...
Yeah, if you're extremely good looking as a comic, because so few are...
No, that's a tough one too, because you're immediately hated, because like...
Yeah.
You're not... Well, how are you funny? Your life is easy.
Yeah.
You're not even... why do you... So, yeah, that's a whole... that's one of those things where it doesn't apply in the real world. Like the more unfortunate your situation is. Like if you had a legitimate peg leg with a hook for an arm...
If you look like a fucking pirate, Yeah.
That you'd only be the only one in that slot.
Yeah.
It's where it is, like the more diverse you are and the more unique you are, the more possibilities you could have. That's a helpful thing.
Yeah, in comedy.
You'd want to be like something. The more unique you are in the world of entertainment and stuff, the more of a very specific thing, like a very defined. But you could also do that no matter what you are. You could define a very unique lane for yourself.
Well, yeah, it's a niche.
That's where your creative skill is. But then if you're too specific, then you could get pigeonholed into something. I don't know. I guess if you can figure out something you're able to do creatively and there's a market for it and you have the right people, because you could have skills and stuff, but you have to have people rooting for you and wanting to help you out. And a lot of times you'll have opportunities and you have to be able to be quick to say yes to them. And if you don't care at all what you're doing, that could be really helpful as well.
I think the days of the Brad Pitts and the Johnny Depps are over.
Yeah, well, I don't know. There's always a spot for extremely good looking.
A spot. But it's funny because there's so many of them. You go to LA and you walk down Sunset, like everybody's insanely good looking. So good luck if you're good looking.
Well, there's a combination of things you have to have. You have to have
an uncle in the business.
Yeah, you have to have some kind of in with someone that's going to push you forward.
You have to kill children.
Yeah. If you're a really good looking guy and maybe you have a bisexual thing going on, that could be helpful to move things forward.
Yes, and it has to be bi. It can't be fully gay.
Yeah, it's because it's better if you're straight and they turn you. That's very good. Yeah. You have to have talent. You have to have skill sets. But one of the ways that you could get lucky is you could meet that right director, and you get in the project that becomes huge. He's like Robert De Niro is Robert De Niro because of Martin Scorsese.
Yeah. Well, they all
Martin
went to
Scorsese.
Sarah Lawrence.
Yeah, they would go to school with the people. You've known these people forever, and if you hang out with the right friends and stuff that are brilliantly talented, and a lot of times they have groups of people that they develop together, or you're in that one. But to some of these, to get into like the perfect film with the right cast, and it becomes massive, and then all those people end up becoming, like Breakfast Club. Like they all became.
Yeah.
If you're in a hit,
Yeah.
that could happen. It's difficult. Like if you're in some independent film that becomes really huge, and then you could parlay it into something else. It's really hard to have a long career as an actor. Some people can make it as like, if you're a stand-up comic, you can always have a way, if you can go out and make a living doing that, and then you also work as an actor, you can kind of have a long career.
Yeah.
It's difficult to figure out. A lot of people that are in Los Angeles have like 10 different jobs. There's, and it's one of the funniest cities in the world where you have like realtors that are like the most attractive people you ever met. Like everywhere you go are these really attractive people that at one time had ambitions that they were going to be a movie star, and they're still probably holding on to that, and they've done some stuff, but they've had to get a job. They've mastered being a bartender or a server or a waiter, or they're doing mortgages. I don't know. They're doing.
Yeah. It's the land of side hustles, but if you have any sales ability, which a lot of actors, you think. I was actually having a conversation today with someone. It's like, if you're an actor, maybe you don't have sales ability, but a lot of them have some sort of an ability to turn something on and turn it off, and that's a lot of the.
You have to be a liar. You
Well,
have to be good at that, because you're gonna get hired to do a job, and the last thing I want to hear about is you're an actor, because that means at any moment you're just gonna leave.
That is true. Yeah.
You don't want to do that. You can't. I've gotten jobs, and I've been trained and done in the job, and then I got hired to direct like a short music. I had a short like a music video, and so I had to like quit the job to do the video.
That's why they do commission only sales rooms.
Yeah. So you would get trained, and you would just.
Yeah.
That's
you're
good.
off. Fuck off.
Like, what's going on here? You have to figure out. So if you're gonna come to Hollywood, I don't even know what you would do anymore. You become a TikTok star in your hometown. Figure out a skill you have, like you're a professional welder on the side.
I know a welder.
Yeah,
in LA. Yeah,
it's a good gig. I think my grandfather did some welding.
It is a good gig. Can't look at the weld though. You know that, right?
Yeah, you have to wear the mask.
You go blind.
It's a tough thing here. Yeah. We've been going on for a while. I think we did it. I don't know if I said anything that was entertaining or funny, but it was definitely answered Samantha's question. Talked about emotional vampire. Folks, the show is growing. We're getting more and more people listening because of your efforts, your multi-level network marketing opportunity. You're getting your friends to listen to it. I appreciate the people that on Apple leaving the nice reviews and the 5 stars. It's very helpful. I think if I get like 150 of them, I think I could get like featured. Yeah. So definitely tell your friends. I need all the help I can get. Get a lot of people. Some of you watch it on YouTube. That's really nice. Share it. Send it out. The little train that could. Hopefully someday we'll be able to make the greatest music video the world's ever seen. Working on that, towards that.
You'll get there.
I know we got Halloween coming up. Yeah. What are people going to do for Halloween?
I'm going to be a priest.
You're going to be a priest? I have a priest outfit.
Yeah.
I've done that before.
Let's do it.
Yeah. I mean, where are you going to go? What are you doing?
I'm going to trick or treat.
Just showing at people's houses.
Do the basket.
I just need food.
Yeah, I'm homeless. I'm a homeless priest.
If you're like a homeless person, would you trick or treat it?
I would totally trick or treat it. I think this is going to be an interesting Halloween, crime-wise. So we have an interesting week ahead of us. November 3rd.
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be pretty dicey.
Oh, shit, I just remembered something. In a good way.
That's good.
No need to talk about it in this. Just like one of those things on a calendar.
Yeah, we got Halloween coming up. We have the biggest election ever in the history of the world, apparently. Oh, how great was I've watched Hunter Biden have a lady give him jerk him off with his feet. I didn't know that's a whole thing. That's a fetish.
Oh yeah, that's a thing.
Like how much?
Wait, you mean you watched it? Is there a video out?
Yeah,
of
there's
it?
video. I have diverse friends. I have hardcore friends on all sides, and they send me all kinds of stuff, and I'm politically, I'm an independent, neutral person, and I'm a big fan of Hunter Biden, and I'm a big fan of there's videos of him getting jerked off while he's smoking a meth pipe. A lot of people don't know that's a meth pipe. That's not a crack pipe.
It's got the circle?
Yep. Meth pipe, and he's getting getting masturbated by someone's using their feet to masturbate him. So that's like, you've had so much sex in your life that that's the fetish you're at. You have to get it to the point of.
Yeah. I don't have that, but I don't know if it's so much like, oh, I'm so overly stimulated and give me a foot to fuck. No, I think it's actually that there's something about feet that do it for you. Just looking at them. Mm-hmm. Like, I've had friends with foot stuff, and it's fetish, like, I don't know the extent of what it is they do with the feet, but they're always looking at feet.
Dave Chappelle had that great joke where he just the fucking the feet. I can't remember exactly. He did a special about the foot thing. But yeah, I think you really have to be pretty advanced you've had so much sex in your life that it's come down to masturbate me with your feet.
Imagine the confidence, though. Yeah. Like, how do you bring that up?
Well, I think if it's a paid situation.
No, if it's
business
not paid,
opportunity.
Though.
Well, I don't know. That's what people are into. Maybe like you're just into armpits. You got to get really, really specific.
Yeah.
In your
hair. Yeah,
your specific situation, and it'd be just kind of funny to propose that to somebody.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's got to be an interesting conversation. These people just send me fucking. My phone goes off because I have crazy people sending me election insanity.
Yeah.
All day long. That's all day long. Just sending me Hunter Biden videos. The people on the left sending me all the other stuff about Trump. I mean, I just want it to be over with. It's never going to end, though.
Yeah, you gotta unplug.
Yeah, you have to unplug from that. You can't. You can't go in. You can't escape this nightmare reality show we're in.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to another episode of the Jeff Hilliard Show. I had someone leaving a comment about Trip.com, TRIPP.com, virtual reality. Get a Quest 2. If your life is a complete, utter nightmare, you have chronic anxiety, chronic depression, PTSD, your life is very stressful, I would get that and I would use it, because then you would be a superstar and your whole life would work out. I mean, if you find yourself yelling and screaming at people, realizing at the end of the world, you don't have the ability to have any kind of hope for the future because you're so traumatized, you don't have the ability to look past the next day because everything's a fucking nightmare, you need to get Trip.com. Could you imagine this would be like their copy if they had? No. I'm
Actually,
just a huge fan.
My sister just bought it.
Did she? Did she like it?
Yeah, because for her birthday, a couple of us went in and got her Oculus.
Yeah, Oculus Quest 2.
The newer one, yeah.
And so she did Trip.
She's doing Trip. She just fucking loves it. She's literally
Oh, it's great. I really believe.
She smiles now.
Yeah, I really believe it could change the world, especially everyone in this clickbait nightmare. Everyone overreacting to everything. I watched a video where these just uneducated, people that don't have a very sophisticated way of communicating. Not that I do, but these people are filled with a tremendous amount of emotion and they're just fighting each other, and it's kind of heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Because you're just both of these sides do not care about you.
Yeah.
And you guys shouldn't be fighting each other. Yeah.
They're wrong. Yeah.
You've been completely turned out, and you've been lied to by both sides, and you're being lied to. Yeah. And if you guys could all just come together, and then you could burn down Nancy Pelosi's ice cream factory.
Yeah. And fund our Patreon.
And Mitch McConnell's place. You could just they've turned the back on all these people to extend their unemployment. You can't work, you can't make any money, and we're just going to pump one in you. But get out there and vote. It's so good.
Yeah, get out there and vote.
Get out there and vote for us.
Yeah.
What you should do if you are like a true American patriot or whatever, when you see someone from the news on either side, you should throw eggs at them. They should not be allowed in public society because they are the demons that lie to you on a regular basis, and they should not be allowed in polite society. Yeah. This attitude's not going to get me too far in life.
I think at the 1 hour and 15 minutes straight.
No one even got to that point, right?
No. People are all the way through these days.
Yeah,
it's just power. We're a powerhouse. We're a power team.
Just
it feels good to be an assistant. It feels good
to be a part of the nonsense.
To be a part of your insanity.
The rambling of this guy doing his midlife crisis, self-obsession, full on, trying to relate to the youth by just writing a memoir, a verbal memoir.
Yeah.
You know,
writing
the person
with your mouth.
who's never really achieved much of anything, but going on as if I was like some Academy Award winning. I achieved the greatest things in the world because I am more talented than you'll ever be. Yeah.
That's where it should end.
That's where it should end, folks.
Say it again.
Yeah, I'm the most talented person that you'll never know. Good night. Good day. Keep coming back. I love you. Thanks you for paying attention, listening. Yeah, get out there and vote. Wear your Halloween costume. Good night. Goodbye.